nobody. You understand? You can trust nobody. The walls are closing in on you. People hate you. They're leaking. They're calling people. And you got good reporters like Maggie and Josh Swank. By the way, very, very good reporter. I did him a few years ago. And he's got tremendous sources in there. And they all rat everybody out. This is going to continue to be hopefully I don't get too many people killed over it. This is going to be a hugely entertaining story going forward.
Yeah, I mean, that's what happens. When you're surrounded by people who are only loyal to power, they're only loyal to their own proximity to your power, and when you become unpopular and when your power no longer exists, they're not going to be near you. In fact, they're going to do what they can to save themselves. As we've been seeing non-stop in this Trump White House, I mean, we know that Kristi Noem was treated like crazy. Then, what I assume is Stephen Miller or someone like that leaked the Kristi Noem story. I think because of all the crazy shit that's been going on, we forget the fact that Donald Trump's own cabinet is now fighting among themselves. And Donald Trump's own wife came out recently to throw him under the bus. So this is just the beginning. And here's Megyn Kelly. By the way, again, MAGA, through and through, crazy person, defending indefensible things. Yet, I don't know what he's doing, but the president is spiraling downward in his poll numbers. He is on a downward spiral now. We'll talk about in a minute what's happening with the white working class. That's Trump's base, and he's now underwater with that. We saw one poll about 7 to 10 days ago showing it, and now there's another. There's no question. He's collapsed now with the white working class. My friends, that's it. Other than Fox News boomers, there's no one left. There's no one left in the original MAGA coalition. By the way, this is something that everyone's saying now. Marjorie Taylor Greene says this too, the Fox News boomers. I don't know why that pejorative tickles me, but it does. And it's as if, like, Megyn Kelly really thinks he's watching me. Do you think Gen Z is watching you, Megyn Kelly? No, it's just the Fox News boomers moving on to where we all are on YouTube. Anyway, let's go. White working class? I really look forward to the people who purport to speak for the white working class. People who write whole books about the working class and what's important to them. People who have been ripping on the so-called podcast class for being critical of this war and how they're completely irrelevant and no one listens to them. I really look forward to those people updating their reporting to tell us what's actually happening among the Trump base now. Why take a focus on the economy, on inflation, on Iran? That's what they want. They don't give two shits about the Strait of Hormuz, about Karg Island, about blockades in the Middle East. They care about their pocketbooks and being able to pay their mortgages and their grocery bills and their car payments without getting that sickening feeling in their stomach. They don't have unlimited funds. Interesting. I mean, am I part of the podcast class? Podcast class. I am of the white working class. I grew up in Detroit. I don't want to say, I feel like no one wants to say therefore. I'll just say we didn't have a lot. We didn't have a lot. We had enough, but we didn't have a lot. I don't know where Megyn Kelly, I don't know if she grew up middle class, rich, poor, but I do think we need more people in leadership, and certainly we need more communicators, more people with microphones. Because there's a certain kind of anxiety you get when you don't have enough. And not a lot of people in the commentary class, we call it the podcast class, and certainly not a lot of people in our government, federally, understand what it means to not have. And if you don't know what it means to not have, then when you take things away, you don't know we're actually doing something. So, on that,
Nope. I want to go there. Nope. You've gone too far. Oh God. Oh God.
He's underwater with white working class voters. Insane. And it's not going to get better because Donald Trump is being told that everyone loves him.
And everyone's saying, oh, we should stop losing MAGA. No, I'm not losing MAGA. MAGA loves what I'm doing. And CNN did a
Fuck
poll.
me.
MAGA vote is a big poll, very important poll. Harry. And he went on, he said, this is made 100% support.
Oh no, I want to go up the fucking.
him citing an 100% approval poll with MAGA, which is not true. His net approval is minus 18%, and with independents it's minus 45%. I don't really feel like he's going to change at all. And a Fox News poll came out that says that Trump stood at 41% approval and 59% disapproval. Fox. And in February, Trump held a commanding 36 net approval rating, 68% approve, 32% disapprove among white voters without a college degree, and that advantage narrowed
Excuse me.
to post 26, 58,
Pardon me.
minus 32% approve. Let's just fast forward here, and then it says here, the latest data
Oh, wait.
shows a dramatic reversal. Trump is now underwater with these voters at minus 48% approve. I don't know who those 40. I would like to talk to that 48%. What's going on in your head? What are you saying I'm not saying? What do you watch? Is it not Megyn Kelly? And 52% disapprove. And Mike Johnson hates this, by the way. Mike Johnson hates this. There he is. Look at that. Mike Johnson, the Cajun queen, as they call him. Because with a super unpopular president, which, by the way, Trump is less popular now than Biden was at this point in his presidency. And when that happens,
Gimme.
there are 135 seats in Congress at the moment, 104 in the House, 31 Senate seats that are held by Republicans in districts where Trump's approval rating is below 50%. Many of those seats could be in deep trouble closer to the midterms. Indeed, 48 of those seats are in jurisdictions where Trump's approval rating is 40% or lower. And of those seats, 21 are in districts where Trump's approval rating is 35% or lower. Said another way, you're fucked. You are fucked. That is not good. That is not good. That means it's going to be a watershed moment in this country. As long as there aren't any voting shenanigans, which we should talk about at a later date, because I'm not entirely sure what they're going to do, but they're going to do something to try to keep us from voting. But it might be, even with shenanigans, we might be able to flip both of these seats. And Cook Political gave some Senate ratings changes. North Carolina has gone from for the Senate from a toss-up to lean D. Georgia from toss-up to lean D. Ohio from lean R to toss-up, and Nebraska has went from solid red to likely red. Now, I'm liking that a lot. And you know who's not hearing about that? Donald Trump. So it's good news for the good guys. Megyn Kelly, keep talking your shit. I don't like you, but hey, if you're gonna throw bombs, do it in that direction. Thank you so much. Talk to you soon. If you're here for the first time, hit like. You'll see more of my videos. If you're here for the second or third time, you're thinking, oh, I like this guy. You're probably not subscribed. Just look below and subscribe. And I'll see you soon. Okay, bye.
Oh shit.
Do you think there's likely to be a second round of talks in Pakistan anytime soon? And are you optimistic about what may come out of them?
Anderson, I would never say I'm optimistic on anything regarding the Iran file. I am hearing from people in the region that the sense is we're winding our way to another round of talks, to a diplomatic path. And we'll see. That is definitely the sense that's out there. There's a lot of diplomatic work behind the scenes from mediators. The Chinese are leaning on the Iranians, I'm told. Who knows what's really happening? But I think we are likely to see a second round of talks. But I'm watching two indicators, and I think, separate the signal from the noise and what's being said from day to day.
Jesus Christ.
Number two is this blockade of shipping from Iranian ports. Is that CENTCOM is very confident that it is. Some of the ship tracker data suggests some are squirting through. We'll have to see. But then the third thing, is Iran going to contest that or not? So right now they're not. But if they do, then we're back into a conflict phase. So let me just kind of back up, Anderson. Right now, it looks like the diplomatic path is getting some traction. The ceasefire is holding. That's good. And all eyes still in the Strait of Hormuz. Is the U.S. blockade working, keeping that traffic away from the Iranian ports? That's going to really fight the Iranians. And the second part of that mission, though, for CENTCOM is to open the international passage to the Strait to give confidence to shippers to pass through. And that still seems to be not happening. So I'm keeping keep an eye on that. Keep an eye on the Strait of Hormuz. Is the ceasefire holding, and do we have this second round of talks before the ceasefire expires next week?
Ambassador Sherman, I mean, given your expertise in this, you've actually, led these negotiations and then took years of planning and more than 15 months of actual negotiations. What do you make of the status of these negotiations? I'm not sure if that's the right word, or talks about having talk.
So it's good that when the vice president went with Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner the first time, he actually brought experts with him. You cannot do this kind of a deal without a team of very seasoned people with a lot of deep expertise, because even if you decide on one element, then you have to figure out how you implement it. Then you have to figure out how you verify it and monitor it and make sure it happens. And if you're trying to do, as the vice president said, a grand bargain, it means you have all of these elements on the table. They fight against each other. It could be that Iran would say, we'll give Hezbollah a little less money, but we want to only suspend enrichment for 2 years. So it's all fine. And one of the things I think is quite critical, if they go back to the negotiating table, and I hope they do, but not for just 20 hours. It's going to take days, weeks, probably months to get it all done if it's possible. I hope that they realize that nothing should be agreed until everything is agreed. It was the watchword of our negotiation, and it was critical to make sure that we had all of the T's crossed and all the I's dotted.
So just to be clear, nothing agreed until everything is agreed. So no point by point, okay, that's a deal on this subject, and now we're going to do this, because it's a jigsaw puzzle that all has to fit together.
Absolutely. It's a jigsaw puzzle that has to all be put together. And one of the problems that I think the Trump administration has had is two things. One, they wanted at the beginning for Iran to simply capitulate. That's why the president says we've won, we've beaten them, we don't want them to win. But quite frankly, in any negotiation, even with adversaries, even if you find people odious, they have to feel like they got something, or you can't get the deal done. So call it winning, call it negotiating, call it giving them something, but there has to be a deal, and a deal means both sides have to get something out of it. And secondly, I think the president has believed he can get this done in one big fix, and that's not how this process works. I wish it did. The last 28 days of the 2015 negotiation, John Kerry spent 19 days in a hotel, nonstop, to get to the final elements of this deal.
Are you optimistic at all? Do you think this is
I'm not very optimistic. I think there's two kind of core questions here. Who benefits from dragging the process out?
Time is on the side of Iranians?
It absolutely is on the side of the Iranians. And the second is, which side can endure the most suffering, the most pain? And I think clearly the Iranians have proven that as well. This idea that the blockade so ships can't come on, and this is a country that's been, had tens of thousands of bombs dropped on it in the last month. The idea that it's going to somehow, kneel down because of the naval blockade, I think is silly.
But the idea that this is now an economic pain being inflicted on Iran, inflicted military pain on them, that hasn't really worked to cow them or have a regime change that actually results in something. You don't think economic pain is going to do it?
The economy was already in a shambles. That's what led to the demonstrations and the killings in January. I think that the regime. I think if you go back, I think it's important to look at what happened in January. That the regime, there was demonstrations against the regime for 10 days.
Oh, there he is.
Peaceful. They were metastasizing in size. Finally, the government reached a point where it thought it was going to go down. So they killed 30 to 40,000 people. They see their back against the wall, and as Ms. Sherman said, they need to feel like they're getting something out of any sort of negotiated settlement, and they don't have much to give because they can be overthrown by the people, and they don't be slaughtered.
Yeah, Britt, I mean, this is not a popular government. Obviously, there is support there, but there's 93 million people. There's a lot of people with a lot of different opinions. Is this a government that's motivated to really make some sort of a deal? Or what would be their major motivation?
I have to say, I largely agree with the thrust regardless of what Scott's saying, we have to have some humility. We really don't know what's happening inside Iran. And if we were on this 2 weeks ago, Anderson, and someone had said, we are going to see a ceasefire and then the highest level talks between Iran and the United States since the 1979 revolution, with Ghalibaf meeting face-to-face with the vice president and with the IRGC there and the entire team from Iran there, I would have said that's highly unlikely to happen, because I did not think the first move of whoever rises to the leadership ranks in Tehran after this conflict would reach out to the great Satan. The one thing that, going back to Khomeini, they said you cannot do. They really just shattered it to move. So it's fairly extraordinary that that happened and that these talks are still ongoing. So I don't know. I agree. It'll take time.
Do you read that as a sign of potential desperation, or you don't know?
But you can read it two ways. You could say they feel so strong that they're coming to show that we have the strength, and we're finally going to meet with you face to face at the most senior level. We've never done it before. Or there is some trouble, and they understand it. They know it. And we are offering significant sanctions, because I understand it, which is something they want, and to do a violent crackdown, but they also want, I think, alleviate some of the economic strain in their population.
Yeah.
So we have some cards in play.
Ambassador, if memory serves me correct, and correct me if I'm wrong, one of the criticisms of President Trump initially against the deal that brought about in 2015 was money's paid, money that Iran got out of it. It sounds like any deal we make now, there's going to be a lot of money involved as well.
There's going to be a lot of money involved, and there's even been some discussion that there would be money that would be given in advance as sort of a sweetener to get a deal done. I think both Brett and Scott are correct. There is economic pain, for sure, in Iran, but the IRGC, the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, is clearly in charge right now. Yes, they want to make sure that there's a future for their country, but I do think they feel that this is existential for them. They lived through the Iran-Iraq War for 8 years being just hammered, and they stuck with it. They are a culture of resistance. I think they may come to the table, but they're not going to be up to this part of their national pride, and that includes, in their view, a right to enrich, in their view, to have
Holy moly.
their proxies help them out. When we scale that back, when we get to a place where we feel there's greater security about the nuclear weapons, all of those things are important. But
Come on. That was good.